What's up, nail geeks, and welcome back to a Kathleen Co video. I have the April and March magnetics of the month to share with you all, including the spring collection. I apologize about the lack of face for this video. There will be a few more sprinkled in with this weekend's spamathon. I have so many videos to show you all this week for launches. I got super sick about a week ago and it threw off my entire schedule. So half of the videos for this week's launches are going to have my face, half of them won't. So I apologize about that, but if I get off schedule and off posting, I will miss out. I also wanted to touch that I did promise the Shima's custom would be featured in this video. Unfortunately, plans seem to have changed and it is not available to purchase. If I get any word of it coming back outside of that small pre-order that was available, I will absolutely let you all know. But we have some other pretties to check out, so without further ado, let's dive right in. First up is Tiptoe Through the Tulips. This is described as a bright pink base with glowy fuchsia shifting shimmer. Tulips has a jelly type of formula in my opinion, and it's on a softer type of buildup. I'm going to suggest 3 coats to plump it up and maximize all that shimmer factor. If you have an incredibly prominent free edge or falsies, any type of smile line, I think you might see the tiniest bit of a peekaboo effect in really bright lights. On my falsies here, you can sort of see through them, but in person, it's not super noticeable. But I did want to touch on that it is a softer type of finish, and the opacity you're getting is from the shimmer. Cotton Candy Cake is a soft pink base with glowy gold leaning orange shifting shimmer. Now, in terms of the comparison between Tulips and Cotton Candy Cake, I would have to say this one is a softer type of pink. It's what I would almost classify as being a touch deeper than Tiptoe, which was a brighter type of vibrant pink, if that makes sense. Cotton Candy Cake is another jelly type of formula. I think honestly between the two pinks, they are very similar in opacity and how they apply across the board. For both, I would suggest going up to 3 coats and a glossy top coat. Both of them respectively are packed full of shimmer, so they do have that nice flat dry down that is so satisfying when you go in with a glossy top coat. Breeze by the Lake is an aqua base with silver green aqua shimmer. We have what I would consider like a sibling to the previous 2 that we saw. Like the 3 of these honestly could be their own trio of sorts. This also has that softer type of buildup, and it's got that caveat where it's going to be a touch soft for a visible nail line if you have a prominent one and you're in really bright lights. So nice pseudo-like opacity going on here. I thought it was interesting, and I feel like if you have a really keen eye on different types of shimmers, this one especially, it's got an interesting, almost metallic type of gleam to how the shimmer looks. Not quite foily, but more fine particle that I definitely appreciated. City Park Stroll is a pale base with glowy green shimmer, hollow flecks, and bright pink, purple, green iridescent flakes. This is what I would consider a crelly type of formula. Someone recently asked me a couple days ago, what the heck is a crelly? Crelly is a hybrid between a cream and a jelly. I typically classify these if they have a plumping factor. As you can see, like on this second coat here, they're usually pretty easy to build up to a full coverage, and they are typically very bouncy on the brush strokes. City Park Stroll was a pick for me at 2 coats. Again, we have a softer type of buildup, but because it had that plumping factor, I thought a 3rd coat would have been too much. Gone Festing is an indigo curly base with glowy blue-purple shifting shimmer. This one is, you probably guessed at this point, one of my favorites out of this video. I will forever appreciate these blue types of shimmers. I know y'all are just sick of hearing that at this point, but they just don't get old to me. I'm always oohing and awing when I get them. Gone Festing is kind of crelly-like with that plumping factor to it. I will strongly urge you to go up to 3 coats on this one too. Now, when you go up to that 3rd coat, you'll see a full coverage effect, though some of you rockin' shorties might be able to get away with 2 normal coats. This one also dries down really flat, so use a good glossy top coat. Springtime in the Quarter is a pastel taupe base with glowy purple shimmer and a dusting of holographic micro glitters. So I guess I retract my previous statement. Those first 3 being a trio, you could probably even have them in a quad if you wanted to do, say, siblings with a very similar type of fine particle shimmer in a softer type of tinted base. Springtime is almost milky in how it builds up. If you like that softer type of, say, milk bath look to your nails, you might be able to get away with 2 coats, but that 3rd coat will offer you that plumpness that I'm typically looking for. This one also dried down pretty flat, so again, use a good glossy top coat to kind of help out that shimmer and that soft type of color roll. And then moving on to the magnetics of the month. This first one is for March. This is Full Moon Bloom, described as a purple base with pastel pink silver magnetic pigment. If you checked out my KB Shimmer video yesterday, I was just raving about this horseshoe magnet, and I'm not done yet. As I said previously, you all are going to see this thing a ton over the next couple of weeks. I'm thoroughly enjoying it, and Full Moon Bloom looks really cool when it is velvet magnetized. The backdrop or the non-magnetized part is this interesting fine particle type of purpley effect, and then the pigment itself that's magnetic, very silvery, and it's like a, I don't know, it's like a chrome type of appearance. Now, I want to caution you to not go in too heavy-handed like what I did on that 3rd coat there. So do 2 normal or 3 super thin coats, your preference, because it did have a touch of streaking, just I guess from how powerful the magnet was. And then lastly, we have my favorite. This one is the April Magnetic of the Month. This is Riding a Unicorn, described as a steel holographic base with glowy pink shimmer and a pink orange green multi-chrome magnetic effect. I adore holographic finishes that have some type of multi-chrome pigment, a shimmer of some sort. They typically give off this very chrome-like appearance. And this one is like that, but it's just amplified to that next level. The magnetic pigment itself is quite shifty. In person, I'm obviously seeing a very obvious pink, orange, green effect on different angles, lighting, what have you. I will strongly suggest going up to 3 thin coats to maximize all that rainbow effect you'll get indoors and or in sunlight. And then also, of course, just how ridiculous it looks when you finish it. And again, PSA, just make sure you are magnetizing your glossy top coat layer 2. And we're going to wrap this up with the Will It Topper segment. This is where I use a black swatch stick to demonstrate if polishes have layering capabilities. So the shimmers themselves, as I previously said, they're very soft, especially in their respective bases. It's like a light tint. So I think you can get a little creative in terms of wearing undies with these. I think matchy match will work, of course. Dark colors, and you might even get away with like super dark grays. City Park Stroll, I think, passed the test with flying colors. I was pleasantly surprised, but I wouldn't go anything outside of dark colors. Gone Festing is going to be fabulous over purples and blues and black. And then Springtime, same thing as those first 3. The magnetics themselves, I feel like you can get a strong magnetic effect, say, over dark colors like this. It almost, especially on like full moon, it gives you that vampire vibe. But personally, I don't think you're doing them justice, especially because, say, Riding a Unicorn has all that gorgeous spectra flare in the background. The Springtime collection and the 2 magnetics of the month are currently on pre-order from now through April 18th at 7 p.m. Central Time. I will link you all below to Kathleen Co's site if you want to get in there and get in on the pre-order going on right now. I'll also link you to the Facebook group if you want to join that, interact with Mia, the maker. She's awesome. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.